Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV. Where you can see that I don't know why I got the lights on and the sun beaming through. Got Bernard in the background. I'm going to bring Bernard in. Bernard, how you doing, buddy?
The glare bouncing off your head, mate. It's too much.
That wipes off your cheek, so and so. Any better?
No,
it's not the glare, mate. That's what's called a halo.
Well, it's like a halo behind you. You're not that religious. You're not God.
Mate, I'm in Northern Ireland, mate. So
well, the sun's out here as well. Don't brag.
It's a bright day. Someone asked me yesterday why you wearing shades. He said, I don't trust you. You're wearing shades indoors. I said, well,
you think they'd know by now, wouldn't you?
It's like, look at that. Guys, just having a quick drink. I've been busy. How you doing, Bernard, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. Just ploughing on with my history stuff. It's about a 12-parter this season, 22-23. It's quite in depth. It's quite in depth.
Yeah. You show this watch. You might see it in the screen there. I'm not very good at this mirror thing. Now, I told my wife there's this series of watches, and I said to her earlier this year, can you buy it for my birthday? Buy it a few months early because she was going off to France. And I said, it's a Swatch watch. You can only buy it in a few Swatch watch shops in the country, and there's a few in Paris as well. So I said, when you go, buy me one of the series. I wanted a black and white one or something. So she got the one that she likes, which was bloody red and white. She could have got me blue.
A bit of red and black for the stripes,
but not red and white. I mean, that was taking the mick before anybody said, "Oh, you can't be if I'm wearing red and all that rubbish." Can't be.
I'm just looking at my walls. No hint of red anywhere, is there on my wall? There, no red at all.
Someone said I've got Paris PSG T-shirt on, and no, it's not. It's very similar. It's a picture of the Eiffel. Sorry, it's not a picture of the Eiffel Tower. It's a picture of a triangular shaped structure. Okay, because you can't make pictures of the Eiffel Tower and use them. I think. There's only particular rules in France about copyright. I think you can't copy it. Yeah, you can't copy. I think you can't use images of something made by somebody who's still alive or something like that.
Just do the Blackpool Tower and put a French flag on it. It'd be fine.
That's what I tell everybody when I go to Blackpool. I'm going to Little France or something, Little Paris. But there's no Mike. No, Mike. We were hoping Mike would be here, but
yeah. But what time is it? 4 o'clock. So midnight, isn't it, over there?
In France. In South Korea. I'll send Mike a message. An Young, Mike. An Young. That's not who his girlfriend is. That's hello in Korean.
Well, who hung? Did you say something hung then?
An Young.
It's only 4 p.m. We can't be saying things like that.
An Young. In my case, no, you can say it about hung. Mike should be hung, drawn, and quartered for not turning up. But guys, it's not a busy news day, but we thought we'd come on and have a chit chat about City and what we're up to. Just shooting the breeze with you guys. If anybody does care to join us, which at 4 p.m.
They finally announced Gundogan anyway, didn't they, today on the City site of all the tributes?
Finally, he's gone. He's out the door. I mean, he's let this sorry saga go on and on and on. We knew he was going.
Yeah,
to be honest. All right, it's easy to say in retrospect or 6 months down the line, but some people have come out and said, "Yeah, we knew he was going." Some journalists come out and said, "Yeah, we had a chat with him a couple of months ago, and we knew he was going." Does that sound like Mike? Mike, long Mike is here.
Yes, I'm here, guys.
Long Mike. Is the nickname accurate, Long Mike?
Well, they kind of call me Longer,
Longer Mike. Wow, you got a big microphone, haven't you?
I have got a big blue Yeti mic. Yeah.
Ooh, come on. I mean, keep it clean, Mike. Keep it clean. Bernard and me, we skate around the edges, but you get in there. I mean, look, let's be honest. Bernard, question for you. Have you ever called yours the Yeti before? Mike's calling his the Yeti.
It's pretty abominable, mate.
Mike is abominable, and he's a hairy beast. Well. Bernard's.
And you're over in Northern Ireland being the abominable showman.
Abominable showman. Hey, I've done a cracking day today. I had a great time today. Done a great day. I mean, having said that, I started at 9. I turned up at this school about 9:10 and I got started at 9:30. Got my stuff out, got started, and I hadn't checked the timetable. I had a look at this timetable. It's like every 15-20 minutes, a new group. Fine, no problem. I hadn't checked it, and they'd given me 15 minutes for lunch, which is a bit tight. I know I came here last year, I had an hour, and they give me 15 minutes for lunch. But as always happens with me, my last session went over because everybody's having a good time. And the first session in the afternoon, I was going off to the toilet. And the people were coming out and said, we wanted to get out early. We were too excited. So I ended up basically working from about 9:15 till 2:30 without even going to the bathroom. But hey, it was a cracking time. We had a great time. Some was like most of the time, it just chucked it down for about 5 minutes. And Northern Ireland's beautiful. I had a slight issue with the car. Went to see a mechanic. He said, there's something hanging off here. He threw it away. He said, nah, you're good to go. No charge. It's the way to live, isn't it? I'm living it large.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's nice in Northern Ireland. Have you noticed that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean they are. It's like it's a nice place.
I'm going to ask you a question now, Mike. I'm just blabbing away. Why didn't you ever introduce me to your sister?
Gillian? Yeah. She's living in Belfast, married with 2 kids.
All right. I thought you had a single sister.
And she's a baker. She makes custom-made cakes. That's what she does.
Well, I'm going to Belfast on Friday.
And actually, she's done quite a few Man City cakes for kids.
Really? Wow. Well,
yep.
City, a very popular team, aren't they? You know, a lot of fans all over the world, which is it's actually interesting because obviously Northern Ireland is usually the Man United fans because of Georgie Best. I think that's
changed. That's changed a lot, I think.
Well, winning in our case or losing in their case makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure does.
Young fans are after that. So back to what Bernard was talking about before Mike rudely interrupted us. Ilkay Gundogan, he's finally got that smile on his face again. He's got this Barcelona top. He says, so happy to join this amazing club. Can't wait to get this new chapter started. He also says, after 7 years, a wonderful time ends. You made me realize all my dreams. 100%. I will carry you forever in my heart. Once a blue, always a blue. Thank you, Man City. So this is what Ilkay Gundogan says. He also says, I will always be City. Nothing can break that bond. It's a love on the highest level possible. But you left us. I mean, it's a love on the highest level.
We'll never see him again. He'll never come back. No, that's it. He's gone now.
Yeah. So, look, as the ESPN say, he arrived in Manchester on crutches and he left as a treble winning captain. He's put a lot of stuff out today. He's put the third goal against Villa out. He's put will never forget, and he's put that out. Then ESPN have put something.
Do you think he's put it out or his PA?
His PA? No, come on, Ilkay does it. And then it's another one. I mean, there's a lot.
Last time I saw, he was on picture on holiday with KDB and someone else.
I don't know about that. It says, thank you for everything to all people at Man City. It's like he's died. I mean, look, Sky Sports Premier League has something for Pep.
Well, he's died to us, mate. He's died to us, as far as we're concerned. I hope we play Barcelona and stuff them.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. I hope Barcelona don't win anything because that can continue the saga of people leaving City and getting nothing and going downhill. Pep said, I am married, but I adore him. He's won plenty at City. He's won 5 Premier Leagues, 2 FA Cups, 4 EFL Cups, 1 Champions League, and 2 Community Shields. Officially, he's completed his move as a free agent. Obviously, he's taken a pay cut to go there, but he'll get a bit of brass for the signing on bonus, but they've officially confirmed him today. And Gundogan says this. He says, one of the hardest calls I had to make was to Pep, telling him that I was going to leave. All I could do was to say thank you, not just for this season or for all the trophies, but for bringing me here in the first place. I will never forget when I hurt my knee at the end of the season with Dortmund and I had to get surgery. I was so worried that City would pull out of the deal for me. But Pep called me on the phone and said, don't worry, it doesn't change anything. We want you here. We'll wait for you no matter how long it takes. I can only imagine what the fans thought when this quiet guy with this funny name arrived here in Manchester for a lot of money and he was limping around on crutches at the unveiling. Well, all I can say is I came here limping on one foot, but I leave here feeling like I'm flying in the clouds. After the treble and after the spectacular parade in the Manchester rain, I thought to myself, how could it ever have worked out better than this? What more could you have achieved? How could you write something more perfect? And the answer was, you couldn't. There you go.
Well, we said that, didn't we? We said he's a very, very lucky chap that he managed to do this in his last, he was definitely leaving for a while. And he was very lucky to have this accomplishment for his last season.
Yeah, absolutely. An interesting thing. I mean, you're going to laugh what Barcelona have done. So obviously he's got a contract until 2025. There's a clause to extend it until 2026. But he's got a release clause. I mean, the guy's 32. He's got a release clause. Bernard, I'll put it to you. What do you think his release clause is? I'll give you both. I'll give you 3 guesses, Bernard, and I'll guess the same to Mike. So Bernard first.
30 million.
Mike, a bit more than that.
45.
Bernard, a bit more than that.
60.
Mike, a bit more than that. You see, we're talking euros.
75 million euros.
Is this Turkish lira we're talking here, or what?
Mike, did you say 75 million?
Yeah.
A little bit more than
euros.
That,
Euros.
How much, Bernard?
80.
Mike, a little bit more than that.
90.
Bernard, a little bit more than that.
100.
Mike, a little bit more than that.
120 million euros.
Oh, you're getting warm now. Mike, Bernard, a little bit more than that.
Get over yourself. It can't be.
Is this, are we talking about Gundogan or are we talking about Lionel Messi?
Is this Haaland we're talking about? I mean, this is ridiculous.
120, Bernard. Come on.
150.
Mike, a little bit more than that.
Are you saying it's more than that?
Yeah, a little bit.
180.
Ooh, has Mike gone too high? Bernard,
175.
Hang on. You've got to let me finish the sentence. Has Mike gone too high? Bernard, a little bit more than that. No, a little bit more than that.
Oh, behave. This is a joke.
It isn't.
It is a joke. Is it April the 1st?
It's what Barcelona have done is a joke, but a little bit more than that, Bernard.
200 million euros.
Bernard, a little bit more than that.
I'm not even going there. This is just ridiculous, mate.
Don't go up in 5s or 10s.
250.
Mike,
300.
a little bit more than that. Bernard.
Oh my gosh.
Bernard, a little bit more than that.
400.
Bernard, you win the prize. Bernard Deneen. The price is right. Come on down. 400 million euros is his release clause. It's taken the.
Oh, shut up! That's
trying to settle the debt. So they're trying to get the money back.
That's just absolutely ridiculous, guys.
Maybe they're hoping that Saudi club come in and pay 400 million for him, but it is.
I think you've missed us. I think you've got an extra note on there, mate. It's got to be 40 million. It's quite funny. Someone posted the prices what they're asking for the United players. Did you see what put on Twitter? They missed a point. They put the point in the wrong place.
Yeah.
You know what that just shows? That just shows in the alternative reality that Barcelona are living in. Honestly.
Yeah. Nah, it's crazy what they did. Gundogan says, if I was going to move, there is only one club in the world that made sense. It was Barcelona or nothing. Ever since I was a little kid, I dreamed of wearing that shirt someday. I am confident that I have a few more years left at the highest level, and I just want to help bring Barcelona back to where they deserve to be. The thing is, in all seriousness, okay, lots of kids, lots of players now grew up as kids and they liked or wanted to play for Barcelona or Real Madrid. We can't get away from that. And if you're Spanish, it's a gimme. But other people grew up at a time, look, even Gundogan was a young kid when Messi was coming through. All right, he's back 4 years. No, I'll take it back. Not a young kid. He was back 4 or 5 years younger than Messi. I think 4 years. But still, when Gundogan was 13, Messi was 17, 18 coming through at Barcelona. Real Madrid had a good side. So there's a lot of romance attached and a lot of revisionism attached to these clubs. And look, it's going to be the same with City. In 10 years' time, you're going to have kids coming through who, Spanish kids, Portuguese kids, Japanese kids, Brazilian kids, who grew up dreaming of one day playing for Manchester City. Look at Gomez. Gomez, our left back, forgot his first name.
Sergio.
That's it, Sergio. He's a City fan. So we have got foreign players who are coming here as City fans. It's unheard of. It shows you our time is now. Our time is now, and we are currently, whatever anybody else wants to say to disagree, and I'm not going to push this, we're a big club. Whatever anybody wants to say, you've got no history. We've got plenty of history. You got no fans. We've got plenty of fans. We're a big club because kids growing up around the world who are becoming football players, professional football players, want to come and play for Manchester City. They dream of it. Haaland, okay, slightly different case. He dreamt of it, playing for City. People are coming through, and one of the massive advantages of having been in a position where you don't have to worry about the money is losing young, talented players, which in the 80s and 90s, that's what was happening. A lot of the best talent around Manchester went to Man United, didn't come to City. It's like City had Ryan Giggs was it a 14-year-old, Bernard? Ryan Giggs. He ended up going to Manchester, Man United. So can you imagine if City had a bit more money?
He went just outside Manchester, actually.
Okay, but you get my point. There's other players who, given the choice between Man United and Man City, went to Manchester United. And then you got this crazy situation where you got Manchester United coaches. Darren Fletcher, his two lads, I think he's got twin lads or something, are at City's academy. Not Ruud van Nistelrooy, the other guy, Van Persie, Robin Van Persie. His kid was at Man City's academy. But so many United players, ex-players, whose kids were at City's academy simply because it was the best. Now, yes, some of them might leave and go back, become dirty again. Once they were clean, now they're dirty again, going back to United. But it's the best place, and this has made such a difference because can you imagine losing some young players? I don't think this would have happened, but let's say someone, if City weren't successful, can you imagine what might have happened to Phil Foden if we weren't so successful? He might have to be sold for the money. Or the draw that City are always not going to win, flip-flopping around between divisions. You end up going to Liverpool, Man United, possibly. It happens.
Peter Swales would have sold him, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, he'd have booted him out. He'd have made us carry him over to Old Trafford. So, but life is changing. Hi, Alec, hope you well, buddy. Life is changing. The world is changing. You've got to move with the times. And all these Arsenal fans giving it large. But I've never been that bothered about big clubs. But surely a big club wins the league more than once in the last 20 years. Arsenal haven't won the league since 2004. Next year, they will not have won the league for 20 years, 20 seasons. Is that a big club? I don't know.
No, same with Liverpool. They've only won it once in how many years?
Once in 30 years. Liverpool, I'll give them their due. They've won the Champions League twice in that time and the league once. Have they won the Champions League twice in 30 years? Or more than 30 years. So
Yeah, 2005 and obviously recently.
Yeah, against the North London bottle merchants of Spurs. So Liverpool have got 3 major trophies. I'm not taking anything away from them. And they've got a big fan base and all that. But surely to goodness, a big club wins trophies. Arsenal haven't won a big trophy, one of the big 2, for 19 years. And they've never won the Champions League. Yeah. So don't go around throwing this big club rubbish around. Now, we talked the other day about the most cups won in England. Okay. Now, Bernard mentioned United and Liverpool at the top. So we're going to go through it. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to ask you for one at a time. I'm going to go through the top 10. This is going to be interesting when you get to number 10 in 11. Anyway, top of the tree, I'll start with Mike. I'll make it eat. Well, I was going to say I'll start with Bernard because I know Bernard will get it right. Not meant to disparage you, Mike, but Bernard will get it right. Who's number 1?
We're talking major trophies here, or what? What we classing it as?
We're talking. I'm even going to include Super Cups.
You're including Super Cups?
Yeah.
You know, there's not much. I mean, Liverpool, I would imagine, at top.
Yeah. I mean, I'm including all trophies. So I'm including the Super Cups, as in anything UEFA. So Liverpool have got 4 Super Cups. Okay. They've got 17 Community Shields. I'm including everything.
All right. Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you take out all the things that are borderline, I think they're still just one ahead as United, or might be level now with United winning the Mickey Mouse Cup this season.
Actually, no. United have got 20 in total, according to Wikipedia. Liverpool have got 19 titles. United have got 20.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying overall, I think Liverpool were one ahead, but I think United winning the League Cup put them level.
Liverpool are one ahead, but if you take out the Super Cups, United are, I think, one ahead. If you take out the Super Cups, because Liverpool have got 4 more Super Cups, as in Community Shields and Super Cups, than United. But let's include everything. So let's say 68 for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Mike, who's second?
Stretford.
Yeah. 67. Bernard, who's third?
Arsenal.
Arsenal got 48. Mike, now we get into difficult territory. Mike, who's fourth?
Everton.
No.
Everton.
Chelsea.
Chelsea are 4th. Bernard, who's 5th? This is easy.
City.
Who's 6th, Mike?
Well, then that's going to be Everton. Then we just passed them.
You're going to keep saying Everton, and you're going to keep getting it wrong. Bernard, who's after Man City? Well, City have got 32 trophies. Chelsea got 34. Arsenal got 48. Because Arsenal won a load of cups, and Arsenal have won, if I'm right, Arsenal have won the Community Shield 16 times. That makes a big difference. So after Manchester City, I've already mentioned the bottle merchants. Bernard, who's after? 26 trophies for the next team.
Villa?
No, Villa have got 25.
Arsenal.
We've already said Arsenal. They were third. They were 48. Okay. I'll put you out in misery. The North London bottle merchants. There's 2 of them. Spurs have got 26 trophies. They won the cup, 15 cups and 9 Community Shields. Actually, I'll tell a lie, 8 Community Shields. Won the Super Cup once, the European Super Cup. So after Spurs, you got Aston Villa with 25. Then Mike's beloved Everton with 24. Now it's interesting. 9th and 10th. Bernard, who's 9th with 14. Which is mostly cups, I think.
Nottingham Forest.
No, Nottingham Forest are 10th with 13, joint 10th. So Forest have got 13. There's one YI man.
Newcastle.
Newcastle have got 14. Forest have got 13. And the last one in this, who have also got 13, none of you will get it.
Huddersfield.
Nah.
Preston.
No.
Aston Villa.
Well, you've already had Aston Villa.
Are they still in the league? Are they still playing?
In the Premier League, yeah.
Yeah. There's not one of these like the Wanderers or something stupid like that.
Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'll help you. Wolverhampton Wanderers. So there you go. Wolverhampton Wanderers. John Alex is City of 5th. Brandon says City of 6th. These guys got it. I mean, Villa are up there. Newcastle. Derby. Derby County below Preston. So anyway. So you look at that. City have got a little bit of history. But I'll repeat, a big club shouldn't wait 20 years to win the league title again. Yeah, a United a big club, definitely won it for 10 years. Who knows? But anyway, we move on. So anyway, Ilkay Gundogan's gone to Barcelona, and as Bernard has said, I hope we play them in the Champions League, and I hope we beat them. I hope we batter the backsides off them. So they deserve it. They deserve a good old kicking. I want them to lose everything now. I want Real Zaragoza to win the La Liga title and Barcelona to get relegated with Ilkay Gundogan there because the guys let me down. Someone's going to record that little bit and take the clip and put it out there that I said Ilkay Gundogan's let us down. He has let us down. He's won so much at City. We're just messing about. So that's it. He's gone. So are we going to talk about him anymore? We move on. Who should we talk about next? Gvardiol looks like he's almost done and dusted. I think I read somewhere, I reckon it's going to be about 77 million quid. It's a lot of money, isn't it, Bernard?
Well, you say it doesn't matter about the money, so I'm not going to say anything. Doesn't matter what we pay for him. It's whether he does. It doesn't matter. We've got it. So, yeah, I'll go with your. I'll toe your line on that one.
All right, okay. Let's get Bernard up there. Let's get Bernard's ball bonds.
Get me pictures in. Get me pictures in. There we go. Get me old shirts in.
That's it. Absolutely. And one day we will get Mike on. We will be able to put Mike in the big screen. But
I don't know. He's a handsome devil. I don't know why he always hides away.
Yeah. Well, no. The thing is, because we're a serious football channel, if we put Mike's mug up there, then the women will be flocking to the channel, and we'll lose all that football seriousness.
Yeah.
And we're dedicated to talking about football at the highest level. We're not some clowns. And Bernard even goes to most games. How many games did you go to last season, Bernard? It must be about 45.
Yeah, I worked out if we didn't get tickets off that guy, I probably would have been about 3 away games all season. That shows how bad it is, the fact. So I think I missed 10 or 11, something like that.
You would have gone to best part of 50 games.
Yeah. Bernard, is that the new Man City shirt you're wearing? Am I sending you over a new one for?
This is ancient. This one. This is 3 years ago, is it? Something.
Right. No, I don't know. It kind of looks quite similar.
The new one's at the back there. You can just about see it under the yellow and black thing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Am I sending you one over for no reason then?
No,
I'll give it a prize. I'm doing some prizes this year, so I'll give it a prize. You're on it.
Okay.
No, there's a story about mine. Yours is legit. Mine isn't. So
no. Let's get it right. His is a bit more legit than yours.
Yours is more legit than mine. Mine's got all the tags, but I'm not too sure about the authenticity of it.
Look, it's I've got to ask you a serious question. How you went to about 50 games last season, home and away. You went to every single home game, if I'm right.
Yeah.
And
I've not missed a home game for about 15 years.
So you would have gone to at least 20
wow.
25 games. Okay. Bernard's been to a ton of games. Okay. How do you get the time to go to all these games, home and away, and still run a YouTube channel?
Well, that's my life, mate. Basically, it's all I do, really.
I can't believe it, because you've got all these other City YouTubers. They seem to have a ton of time to make YouTube videos. How do they manage it?
He's got not only one channel. There must be about 3 channels that Bernard runs.
Bernard knows what I'm getting at, but tongue in cheek, because I heard somebody slagging off a pair of City YouTubers and podcasters.
Yeah, I do like them guys, but I got to the stage where I just stopped watching them. I mean, I find them very funny. I like them. I don't care less whether they go or not. This is how they make the money. That's how they do it. And I remember them being in a shed when they first set out doing it, and what they did the vlogs, and they did a review of beer as well. So they were drinking beer while they were doing it, and it was just something different, and that's what you have to be, and something unusual. And I like the lads. I think they're great, and they must have reasons why they don't go, etc., etc. But anyone, if you don't go or you do go, I'm not that bothered either way.
I know you're not.
Let me ask Ray. Let me ask Ray a question, Ray. What channel do you watch when you're not watching like me and Bernard? Well, what other sort of channels or podcasts do you listen to?
Yeah, when I'm not watching YouTube, I'm watching some other. I can't say what I was going to say. I'll get done. I'll get banned for what I was going to say. When I'm not watching YouTube, I watch Brokeback Mountain to remind me of YouTube.
Well, Mike, I'll tell you what I do. If I'm in work, I usually have an audio book on it when I'm working, at the store in the morning. But obviously, if I go on Spotify, I usually put the Man City shows on. Man City show. That's a good one. Yeah,
that's a good one.
I listen to ours as well, just to get your listening figures up. So, I sort of listen to that. That's pretty sad, really. But I do that. And it's only the Man City show, actually. I mean, I watch Ian Cheeseman occasionally. Yeah, I watch Ian Cheeseman very occasionally. But Man City show all the time. 93.20s, obviously, you have to pay as well for that, so I don't bother with that one. And I used to listen to the American guys, what Noisy Neighbors.
The Noisy Neighbors.
Yeah. But I've sort of stopped listening to that now. But it's only probably time. I mean, obviously, I watch a lot of films and TV stuff as well for my other vlogs. So I don't have a lot of time to listen to many podcasts now.
Yeah, the other one that I like to watch is just for fun is ESPN TV with those 2 Scottish growlers, Craig Burley and who's the Liverpool defender, the old Liverpool defender that the red-haired left back who's now in his 60s. Who is that now? Stevie Nicol. Stevie Nicol. Yep.
Right. Yeah. So
because
Alec watches all the shows, Mancunian Way. Obviously, I used to watch Horsey a little bit, but as it's time now, as you said, Mike, I've got that. I do that much. I have to spend a bit of time with the missus as well, so I have to be very limited what I watch. But Alec, Alec. There's a few people like Alec. A lot of people just like one or two, don't they? I think just going on Twitter, and some people won't give any of them the time of day. I'm not mentioning names.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of new city.
I mean, obviously, like my history vlogs, I don't get loads of views for them. I like doing them for my own sake as well. And some, it's. I try not to make it too dry because it's history. But a lot of people just don't like history of any sort whatsoever, even football history. They're not really interested in history. But I try and mix it up. I try and mix it up. So I like it when other people try and mix it up a little bit as well.
Is your son Bernard as much of as a city man as you are?
He is, and he isn't. If you know what I mean, he's like me. He's passionate when he's involved, but he's got a new girlfriend now, and he's had a few health problems. So it's not been the be all and end all, and he has a few chips on his shoulder about things like he won't join the cup schemes as he objects to having to pay without deciding which he wants to go to. So he won't join them sort of schemes because he doesn't think it's fair, and he hates VAR. I mean, that nearly finished him off them VAR came in. He just never wanted VAR. He still doesn't want VAR, but he accepts it. But he's every time something happens with VAR, whether it's gone for us, against us, he objects to it sternly. He's never agreed with it since it came in. So. Yeah, he's very, very passionate, but obviously, he has other things in his life. He's 40 this year, so he's still got other things in his life as well. I try and do this to cheer myself up because I'm up at 2:00 4 mornings a week, so that depresses me. But hey, we got to pay the bills, haven't we, mate? So that's how we do it.
Do you remember the first game that you took him to?
No. I'll admit. I mean, all the girls came with me as well. I've got an older girl and a younger girl than my lad. They all at some stage went to the games with me, and they all three of them went at one stage as well. But no, I couldn't specifically say. Obviously, Mark can't remember. I couldn't specifically,
or even the era, or who was manager at the time, or something like that.
Well, obviously, my youngest was born in 81. So she probably went to her first game about 86, 87. And obviously the other two are 2 years separate. So Mark would have been to his at the 88, 89, and Sarah would have gone to her first ones in 91, 92. So not the greatest times. Mark, his first Wembley visit, of course, Mark, he was a bit older. He was 16 then. It was, of course, 1999 was his very first. We remember that because obviously it's... specific was his first trip to Wembley, but I can't. We've got programs, and he's got programs, and when he went to games and stuff like that, but nothing specific. But I started. In fact, I took one of my nieces in the 70s. I used to say she liked to come with me as well. So when I was before I got married, I used to take my eldest niece to a lot of City games, and in the mid 70s. Oh, good. I tried to get them over to the blue side, but my daughters are married United fans, unfortunately, which didn't help. So all my granddaughters, I see pictures of them wearing United tops all the time. So that's not very good. But hey, now what I can do about that.
Yeah, I've got two questions for you, Bernard. I just wonder. I think you may have mentioned it before, but I think I've probably forgotten. Were you at the 76 final, and were you at Gillingham in 99?
Yeah, I was at 74 one as well. The Wolves, that was my first trip to Wembley was 74 with the Wolves game. So that was disappointing. But yeah, Everton, the only one I missed, and I chose not to go was the Chelsea thing. I just didn't fancy it. I had a young family then. And I knew there'd be trouble there, and I thought, no. I went to Old Trafford the day before. Of course, we played United the day before that one. I was at Old Trafford. That was a bit nasty. Was there, so I thought I was glad I didn't go down to London for the full Members' Cup, because I believe there's a bit of trouble, which was bound to be when you're outnumbered 2-1 against Cockneys. They'll always have a go, So. As I say, my family it was 86, wasn't it? So yeah, I was a very young family then. I had the lad and the girl. The other one was born the same year, so I had to. It's like when life impinges on watching football. You got a young family or businesses, and you're working 24/7. So I went to Old Trafford, but that's the only time I've missed Wembley. Then obviously, as it got to the Stoke game, of course, United and Stoke, I just couldn't get tickets, so I ended up watching those at City Square and stuff like that. So. There's 3 or 4 early Wembley visits I missed, when we started being very good, unfortunately.
Well, here's another question for you. Remember 1981? Did you go to the replay on the Thursday night?
Yeah, we went for the weekend for the first game. We went with my wife was pregnant with my eldest. She was born in September 81. So she was well pregnant then when we went. So we went for the weekend. She came with me, and I went to the match with my father-in-law, big City fan, no longer with us. So we went for that. But obviously for the Thursday night, I just ended up getting a Mains's coach from Openshaw. Got the Mains's coach there for the replay. So very disappointing, obviously.
So you were there for that cracking Steve McKenzie goal.
Yeah, that was a bit of trouble that night. There was lots of Tottenham fans in with the City fans in our end, because obviously Tottenham tickets went on sale at Wembley as well, didn't they? So City got 30,000 or something like that. Tottenham got 30,000, and they stuck 25,000 tickets on sale at Wembley. So guess who got them? Guess who got them tickets? Rather than give us each, rather than split it and give Tottenham and us half each, obviously who's going to get those tickets that go on sale at Wembley? Let me think. Is it going to be City fans or is it going to be Tottenham fans? So the Tottenham end, there's about 3 blocks of that was mainly Tottenham fans. So it was kicking off all over the place. So, but typical FA, nothing ever changes, obviously.
Yeah, I was speaking to a couple of my mates on Twitter. Guys called Wazza is one of them, and Miles Platting Lane, and they were saying that to get to the replay was very, very difficult because they'd sold all their tickets to Tottenham fans, and it was not really easy to get in. Let's move forward a little bit further and see if you were actually there at any other game. Right. What about the defining semi-final just before we got to the FA Cup final under Mancini? Yeah.
I mean, my lad was at it. I was watching in a mate's house in Denton. That one I didn't get to. My lad did. He got to that. So there's some interesting stories on all the fighting on Wembley Way and stuff, or whatever they call it now. They call it something else now, don't they? Don't call it Wembley Way anymore. But so I missed that. I also missed the Wigan one. I watched that in City Square. I remember the Wigan game. I couldn't get a ticket for that one. I didn't have a season card at the time. I was just paying to get to games, and I don't think I had the social media contacts I have now, obviously, in those days, so I didn't get a ticket for that. Gillingham was an interesting one because I wouldn't have got a ticket for that, but I actually put a big sign. I had a video shop at the time in Denton, and I put a big sign.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I put a big sign on the window saying, any tickets come in, and I managed to get a couple of tickets, not much more than face value. I've probably paid double what they should have been. We weren't in the same part of the ground, me and my lad, but so I got tickets for that through about the 2 days before. I think some guy come in and had a couple, so I had to pay a little bit more for that one. But so I missed the Wigan. I think I've been to all the others, so I don't think I've even.
Here's a fantastic question for you: were you at these games when Paul Lake got injured? And when he made his comeback and he couldn't continue, those two games were very emotional.
That was the time as well as going. Then he can go back as well to when Colin Bell got injured, obviously, and Colin Bell came back. You
were at that one too.
Yeah, and obviously the one, and Gary James pointed this out, the one where he came back on the Boxing Day, which is the one everyone talks about, of course. He actually had come back before that. We were at that one. He had actually come back for a couple of games. I think it was the previous season, but it all collapsed again. But so people tend to forget that. But obviously, that Boxing Day one was so emotional that everyone links that as his comeback game. But he did try. And Gary James pointed out a couple of years ago when people were chatting about it, and I've looked at the records ever since, and yes, he did have, I think, 2 or 3 games the season before where it just fell apart. He couldn't come back properly, so that was he didn't really come back after that Newcastle game, did he? He certainly was only working about 50% of his what he should have been. So that was interesting, as I say, with the 4-0 victory over United when old Martin Buchan did him, of course.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, what about this one? The one that made our co-founder Walter Smith famous, the 6-1. Were you there that day?
No, I've been to Old Trafford virtually every time we played them up to probably when we became very good, and I've just never been able to get a ticket. My lad's been a couple of times in the Stretford end with the son-in-law that married one of my daughters, but I've not been to Old Trafford. Oh God, I've certainly not been to Old Trafford since we've been good.
Well, you'll get soaked because the rain comes through the roof.
Yeah, I mean, I used to get tickets regular. I tell you what, I've been to Old Trafford 25 times. I reckon I've been in with United fans about 15 to 18 of those times. I've plenty of times in with City fans, but I always tended to get tickets for a United bit, which is never nice. It's never nice going to Old Trafford anyway. But so yeah, I'd imagine the last time I went must have probably been the late 90s. I don't think I've been to Old Trafford to watch City and United for about 20 odd years.
Yeah. All right. 2 more questions then. What about this one? You remember when we got to the semi-final of the European Cup under Mancini?
Yeah.
And we lost to Real Madrid. And Edin Dzeko scored for us. Were you watching that on TV or were you actually there?
At home?
The one where we lost it, I think. Was that the second leg?
Yeah, well, I've literally been to TNS. That's my Hamburg, TNS, and of course Istanbul. That's literally my away journeys. I've never had the cash or time to go away.
So you weren't there in our first Champions League final against Chelsea? Then?
No, because if you remember, I was optimistic. I think I was on the scheme. I think they had the scheme then, didn't they? I was optimistic, but obviously he offered to pay all the travel, didn't he? So every Tom, Dick, and Harry got a ticket, and obviously it sold out before it got down to my points total. So I missed out on that.
All right.
Yeah, if he hadn't offered to pay all the travel, which he did, I think I would have got one for that. But hindsight's wonderful. I'm glad I didn't.
But you were definitely there for the Aguero moment, weren't you?
Oh God, yeah. I couldn't go on the pitch. So I was in the third tier. I did feel like jumping off, but yeah, I might have hurt myself a little bit. Yeah, I was. The period. I tell you what, the period. Interestingly enough, I was homeless for a little few months. I was living in a car and sort of sofa surfing.
You were living in a car, really?
Yeah, I was living in a car for a few months, and it was all around because this is quite funny. I went into Stockport Library, which was near where I was going out with this young lady at the time, and she didn't know I was living in my car. I never told anyone. I didn't tell the kids. I didn't tell anybody because, just pride, if you like, or whatever it was. Anyway, I
hope it was an estate car at least with a decent back seat.
No, it was a crap Nissan Sunny. It wasn't anything special. So anyway, I was sleeping on the Tesco car park in Stockport 3 or 4 nights, not every night, because I did have a girlfriend and I used to stay over and stuff like this. So I used to get a shower and things like that. So it wasn't as bad as it sounds. I still had a few home comforts thrown in. But anyway, I went to Stockport. I used to go to Stockport Library a couple of days a week. I was working, but I was actually gambling at the time and earning money through gambling, believe it or not, which I did for quite a while. But anyway, I was doing that, and I got all these papers, and it was all about City being taken over, obviously by the Sheikh. So I wasn't actually going to games then because I literally was down to my last few quid in the bank. I was just living hand to mouth, really. And I went into Stockport Library and I just got all, they have all the papers, as you know, in the libraries. I just ploughed through every single one, of course, when the Sheikh took over. So I wasn't even suffering at the time. I didn't see many games under old Hughesy and stuff like this when he first took over. So I more or less became a glory hunter again, because once I sorted myself out, got myself a flat, etc., obviously I started going again and got myself a regular job. So that was about 2008, I think I started, and that's the last time I missed. As I said, I've been going 15, 16 years without missing a home game, so that was around about then.
Well, funny enough, that was going to be my next question. Do you remember the game where I think it was Mark Hughes' last game where Mancini was in the crowd, and everyone and his uncle knew that Mancini was taking over. Apparently, apart from Mark Hughes, he was totally oblivious.
Yeah,
were you there for that one?
Piece on it. No, I wasn't at the game. Actually, I wasn't at the game. No, that was literally, as I said, I missed most of Mark Hughes, so I was quite happy I miss most. I mean, obviously, I was still a keen City fan, but the thing with me, mate, when I'm not going to games, I find it very hard to either listen on the radio, and you couldn't in those days. It's very rare you could get to watch City live. Just obviously when we're in the before those days in the 90s, Keegan was there. We used to be on telly every other week and stuff like that. But I was going to games then. But when Hughesy was there, if you think about it, it was I literally, because I was in my shop I lost my video shop in 2007. I lived there for a while as well before I became old.
After putting your main rival out of business.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, I put him out of business. Yeah, but so anyway, I was 13 years. I had the shop 13 years, and all the video shops were shutting. And I kept mine open probably longer than a few people did because I was doing different things to try and stay afloat, etc., etc. But obviously at that stage, with Mr. Mark Hughes, I was very fortunate because what I did was in the video shop for the last 12 months, I literally worked every day. I didn't have any staff, just did it, opened at 10, shut at 9 at night, every day, 7 days a week, just to try and keep my head above water. And of course, because I couldn't get to see City, I didn't want to listen on the radio. I had people coming in and saying, "Oh, what's the score?" And I can't listen. I can't listen on the radio. I just can't. I can't do it. So I literally had to try and turn myself off because I was getting too upset. I was getting too upset with everything. So I just turned myself off it a little bit and tried not, just saw the score at the end. So that's how I coped. So I found it very difficult not to not be there. It's so by turning myself off to it, I found it easier to cope because it wasn't a good time either personally. So I'd split up with the wife like that. Let
me tell you, one of the most depressing times of my life was the Stuart Pearce era. Well, I was just basically mocked every single week. I was a joke to my friends. They saw me coming in with the sad chops every week, and
I was going to Stuart Pearce here, and I thought it started off fine. It just gradually got worse and worse, didn't it?
It did. I don't know why, because I thought that he was going to be such an inspirational character. I find Stuart Pearce an inspirational guy. I mean, probably
Peter Reid's similar style, wasn't it? Peter Reid was a similar thing. Started really well, and then it just sort of started gradually, getting worse and worse. So Ray's back now. I've been boring everyone with my life story, Ray.
Don't worry. It's not boring.
Ray. We were just talking about the Stuart Pearce era. I was just telling Bernard that was the most depressing time of my life because I was just getting roundly mocked every single day I came into work.
Mike, when I left you, we had 200 people watching. Down to 10. What's going on?
We've still got Alex here. We're all right. Alex on. That's all that matters.
So we talked a little bit about, obviously, Gundogan's gone. We're not shedding a tear anymore. He's gone now. We moved on. We've got new lovers. Gvardiol's coming. We'll see. Jude Bellingham didn't come. It's not. I don't worry about it. I said we chatted yesterday, Bernard. I think we said we don't worry about it. If you lose good players or good players don't come, City won 5 titles in 6 years, losing good players and good like Leroy Sané, great player. I thought, we've lost some good players. Gundogan now, and other players haven't come that we were hoping to get. City just roll on. You don't get one person. You don't, for instance, we didn't get Koulibaly. What great has Koulibaly pulled up since he left Napoli? Well, who did we get instead? Ruben Dias. Job done. We lost Ferran Torres. We didn't cry. We took a lot of money. And we got Julian Alvarez, World Cup winner. Who got the best out of that deal? City. So all these people who criticise Cheeky, they can do one. They can do one for me.
Do you remember the story when Raheem Sterling left and they said, this is the first time that Man City have lost a player that they would rather have wanted to keep? And I was thinking, I don't think so. I'm not sure that many people. I mean, we all sang Raheem Sterling's top of the league, of course, but I don't think, guys, that there were that many tears when he went.
I think the nearest we've got is probably Gundo. Is the nearest we've got to a guy we've lost that perhaps we wouldn't have minded staying on for a season or two. Obviously, people wanted Sane to stay, but to be honest with you, he was bloody awful the last few months he was with us. He didn't want to. You could tell he didn't want to play. You could tell he wasn't interested. And the same with Sterling. He was trying. He just wasn't good enough. He just wasn't doing it.
It was incredible how Ray's told this story before, but it was incredible how that story about Leroy Sané. I mean, that hurt personally, but then Guardiola crocked him before he went. He played him in a game that he didn't need to play in, and that was that.
Yeah, but that cost us the money. It cost us a shed load of money. We had to pay his wages. Let's say that's 10 million quid. We had to pay it. We had to pay his hospital bills. We lost about 40 million quid in transfer fee because he only had 1 year left in his contract after that. So that was stupid from Pep. It really was. You know, he wasn't going to stay. Same as Gundogan had made his decision. And Bernard had said months ago, Bernard said, Gundogan's made his decision. He's off ski. You know, if he's not, Matt, I think you concurred. You know, if he's not signing his contract, why not? You know, everybody knew. You know, the truth is, I think, not everybody, but most people knew he was going. We just hoped he'd stay because I think he still has a lot more to offer to City, to Barcelona.
The reason why City wanted him to stay was because he was kryptonite to Liverpool. That's the reason. I mean, I actually at that time, I don't do it anymore, but I was actually listening to Liverpool pods, and they were saying, "What about Sané? What's he going to do?" And they wished that they had him playing for them. Yeah. But I just think I think Ray's exactly right. I mean, we lost out hugely financially, but what's he done since, guys? I mean, I don't think that he's been that impressive at Bayern Munich. Bernard, what do you reckon?
No, I think we talked about him the other day. He's just obviously he's there, but he's not doing anything spectacular. He has
apart from
bobs, but that's it.
Apart from getting punched in the face by Sadio Mane,
I mean, you're watching for Germany as well. You're watching for Germany, and what's he been doing for them? He's not been doing any. He's only been doing little bits and bobs for them as well. So I mean, it's no. I think most of us thought it was the right thing to do, and a lot of people want him back. I mean, I've seen the tweets the last few days saying, "Oh, can we get Sané back?" And I thought, why?
Well, you know something. I think about Leroy Sané is a very, very, I think a very prescient remark that Ray made, because with everyone screaming about Kvaratskhelia, the guy from Napoli, and I keep quoting this where Ray said, "Don't worry, that magical flair that he displays for Napoli, Pep will train that out of him." And I think that's what he wanted to do with Leroy
at the moment.
What's that?
There's not this Kvaratskhelia. I mean, there's nothing been mentioned at all, is there really, about that?
I can't see it really. You hope.
No.
Simply because
it's Napoli.
That's for 100 million, and they won't sell him to us. So I can't see it. I can't see that one happening. But Leroy Sané, it's a shame because he would have been a better player if he'd stayed at City. A much better player if he'd stayed at City. The thing is, Pep had issues. Pep doesn't like losing the ball. That's it. That's why you see Jack Grealish isn't as aggressive as he was at Villa. Mahrez isn't as aggressive as he was, not as in physically, but aggressive with the ball. as he was at Leicester, because they cannot afford to lose it. Because Pep's
Well, Cole Palmer's not come on, because obviously that's the problem with Cole Palmer. I mean, when he first came into the team and into the squad, Pep, he didn't mind him, so go and enjoy yourself. But obviously it all changes, doesn't it, as you get more experience? He doesn't, he wouldn't have told him to say go and enjoy yourself, because they were important games one way or another. Even the cup games, we were going for a treble, so even he was under leash. He had a little bit of a leash on recently when he's played towards the end of the season. And
the problem for I'm just reading this. Anyone seen Sani crying with Pep after the Champions League win? I forgot what I was going to say now. I was talking about Mahrez.
Sani at the Champions League, guys. I've not seen that.
I think Pep spoke to him afterwards. But I was going to say about Cole Palmer. The problem Cole Palmer's got now is, you're right, Bernard. Pep he had more free reign when he came through, because he was in the lower under 23s EDS. He had a bit more free reign there, let's say, because the players he was playing against weren't Premier League players. They weren't top quality players, and he could get away with a bit more. Problem is, now when Cole Palmer goes on the pitch, he thinks he's got to show that flair. He's got to be incredible. He can't afford to be mundane. Well, actually, Pep wants mundane. So you show that flair. You lose that ball. You try something too much. You lose that ball. It doesn't come off. It's a problem. Last season, he was trying stuff. It came off, and it looked fantastic. Wow. Because we were not used to people taking, Mahrez never used to take that many people on. Cole Palmer had a go, and he was dangerous. But when it doesn't work, Pep doesn't like it. And I think you're right, and that's why Cole Palmer's struggling. Every time he comes on now, he wants to shine, because he knows if I don't shine, I'm not going to get a chance. And
is that not going to be the case for McAtee when he comes back as well?
I'm not sure he will.
You're saying we're going to flog him to Sheffield United?
Why not? I can, but the thing is, if Sheffield United offered us 25 million, I think he's gone. I think we'd be happy
with the buyback.
As little as that, Ray.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really do.
Wow.
I do.
Not 400 million then. Not on Gundogan style.
Yeah. Street.
But it's funny Pep style. I mean, you've got that famous story about Thierry Henry who scored a goal for Barcelona, was dragged off by Pep not long after because he wasn't staying in his position. So this is what they've got to deal with. He's got his system. You've got to play where you've got to play and do exactly what he wants you to do. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many tricks or how many flicks or how many goals you score. He'll drag you off, and he did it to Thierry Henry, who was one of the best players of his generation. So, yeah, it's a tough ask, I think, for anyone that joins Man City.
Pep's not scared. Pep's not scared about doing stuff like that. Right, guys, it is 5 o'clock. Mike is 1 a.m. for Mike. I think we'll be doing a stream tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to the Republic of Ireland tomorrow, but it's a 3-hour trip. And I'm thinking, I'm going to be knackered. I'm going to be tired when I come back. I'm up at 5. I'm going to be there at 9. And
you need a passport, right?
I'm taking it. I'm not supposed to need it, but I'm taking it just in case. So I'm doing that.
Does that passport photograph look anything like you in real life?
It's even more handsome, mate. Even more handsome.
Be careful, guys. I've got one tiny little story to tell you before we finish. Guys, over here in Korea, they don't have the coin booths where you go in and stick a few coins in and get your passport photograph taken. You have to go into a studio. And they take your passport photograph and then they Photoshop it to make you look good. And that's obviously very welcoming. But when I came over back in February, they've got photo recognition now at Heathrow. So what you have to do is you've got to scan your passport and look into the camera. And when I did it, I scanned my passport, looked into the camera, and it just went, and then the guy behind me said, "Okay, that sometimes happens. Just do it again." And I did it again, and it just went, and I went to they sent me to a desk, and the guys looked at my passport photograph, which was beautiful, and then they just looked at me, and the guy just went, "Nah, mate, listen.
He put
buddy.
his rubber gloves on then, did he, Mike, after that?
No, he just said time waits." He actually said to me something I'll never forget. He said, "Listen, mate, time waits for no man. Time waits for no man." Get yourself another passport photo. So, Ray, make sure that your passport photograph looks a little bit like you without those sunglasses on.
My passport looks like me. Don't worry, mate. Don't worry.
We've got nothing on Rice City yet, have we? Nothing's happening on that. I mean, we're still deciding whether we've even shown any interest, but there's nothing on that in Drenell.
Yeah. Let's look.
Yeah, don't think so.
Right. We're going to shoot, guys. I'm going to shoot. I've got a ton of work. I've had night to eat apart from breakfast.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with my droning on and Mike's my living in a car and stuff like this, guys.
Actually, Bernard, I thought that was the best part of the pod. we were taking a trip down memory lane there, Ray, when you were not there.
Yeah, right. Well, the thing is, I was listening. Had a keen eye on what you guys were saying. But interesting thing is, actually, now that we say we're going, we had 24 people on. Now that we say we're going, before we was like pretty quiet. Is it something I said? Yeah, I've been gasping for an hour, mate. We might as well gasp in front of you guys and get a few views. But yeah, we'll be on. We'll try and do something tomorrow if Mike is awake. And we'll do maybe something similar time. Maybe a 5 o'clock start. I'll speak to the guys and see if we delay, because hey, at 5 o'clock we had 24 people. At 4 o'clock we had 9 people. So it kind of says an indication there. I'm going to have to buy a bar of chocolate and some fizzy pop. And I hope you guys have a good evening wherever you are. I hope the sun is shining, and I hope if you're out in the sun, wear some sun cream. Otherwise, you'll end up with a tan like mine. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, Mike and Bernard and everybody else.
Yeah, thanks for everyone coming on, even the late, even old Blackpool Blu-ray. A bit late, mate, but it's typical.
Turns up so late. Yeah, I did say actually in the title something about Declan Rice, but there's nothing to say about Declan Rice, really. We just gassing.
Nothing.
There's nothing new. Nothing changed from yesterday. We discussed his potentially legend.
The only thing we know, it's bye-bye Gundogan, definitely, but that's
it. Bye, Miss Gundogan pie. Taught my gun. Anyway, you can make your own songs up about. Someone should make a song about Gundogan.
What is it? A 400 million release clause.
400 million. Everybody's on. Brian Gardner's here. Blackpool Blu-ray turns up. 400 million pound release clause for Ilkay Gundogan. Barcelona have installed. They are dreaming. They are on Clyde Cuckoo Land. I wonder what they're smoking over there, because I certainly don't want any over here, because they're absolutely deluded. Right, guys, enjoy your evenings and good night, Mike. Take it easy, everybody. See you around, Blues.
Good night, guys. Up the Blues.